Hey guys, this is Will of TyBL and welcome back to my channel. BL series is becoming a hot thing for a lot of people today since the pandemic occurs. The BL world might have been established for how many years from now, but 2020 made it even bigger and brighter. Aside from BLs that we always got from Thailand, some Asian countries have been making a lot of their own versions. Philippines is now one of the countries that releases a lot of BL series lately, and it's quite promising. In this video, I'll be sharing with you my 4 picks for the best PHBL series. We all know that our preferences is different from each and every person, so if your favorite did not make it to the list, it's either I haven't watched it yet or it's not just my preference. Anyway, if you live in a different country and some BL series are not available to yours, you can use ExpressVPN to watch those restricted series. Use the link on the description below to have 49% discount and 3 months free if you opt to avail the 12-month plan. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. I have been vocal with some of my videos how I really love Hello Stranger as a BL series. When I first watched this BL, the casts already got me with their acting skills, as it's really convincing. The first scene started with a huge flashbacks and a glimpse on what's coming ahead of us. Miko asking how his heart was broken made the series more interesting. At first, I thought that this series would have a sad ending, but fortunately, it got a good one. I really love how the eyes of Xavier and Miko communicate the feelings of one another. Their eyes are really their expressions of their emotions. Also, another good thing is that the series highlighted the importance of friendships on the development of Xavier and Miko's relationship. Although I really like the series, I think that there are some questions that still lingers in my head after the ending. First, I'm still not sure on how they handled the character of Xavier's ex-girlfriend. Probably, they just want her character to be supportive on what Xavier really likes. Another thing is the ending. I actually like the ending, but I'd hope that we got more on that. I hope the series got a season 2 or special episodes to further develop the story. Anyway, this series is worth your time. Quen Things. The series is actually one of the good series that I saw with the theme that's relevant on today's world. Pandemic really hit us all, but it varies differently per person. What I also like in the series is it's a romantic comedy, but it can also be dramatic when it needed. The other BLs that reminded me of this series are Thon Type and Roommate the series, which are both Thai BLs. I also like that there are some posters of Thai BLs on the room of Judah that made my heart flattered. Quen Things talked about 2 different people, with the both of them having their own problems and issues. On the first 4 episodes, the connection and bond are already established well, and I can definitely see the chemistry between the 2 leads. I thought that this series will only have a light drama on it until the episode 4 happened. I was shocked and couldn't think when the sudden happiness of the 2 turned to be a heavy scene. Judah saying to Rocky that they are alike somehow triggered the anxiety of the latter. I can already see that Rocky also has its own issues with its sexuality, and dealing with it unexpectedly is really shocking for him. What I also like in the series is the firm stand of Judah from his family. They might be our family, but we should also take courage to be what we are. Remember that we are the one who live our lives and not them. Somehow, Judah was actually true when he said that they are alike. Judah having a problem being accepted by his family while Rocky can't accept his sexuality. The lovemaking scene on episode 4 also left me in awe, as it's the first time I saw that kind of scene in a PHBL. Nevertheless, this series is definitely a must watch for every BL fans out there. I know that some of you may be raising your eyebrows with this one, but I actually love this series so much, even if it's only in its first episode. I'm a huge fan of Theory of Love, so loving this series is no surprise. The dialogues and lines are well thought and not just bunch of ad-libs that do not make sense. The first few scenes already made me wait for what would happen next on this one. The 2 main characters really do have so much chemistry with one another. They are actually one of the most compatible PHBL couple that I have seen to date. The opening music is also calming, that reminds me of Theory of Love's opening music too. The questions of Cole on the first seconds of the series are actually the same as mine. Whether those things are really meant for you or you're just an option to that situation. The acting of the casts are definitely good, most especially Vladimir. I already fell in love when I saw him dancing on his own with an alcohol on his hand. Cole, on the other hand, is also another good actor. The plot of this series is pretty interesting. We already know how fake relationships turned out to be with love sickened together, but I think that there's something new in this one. Anyway, this is really a must watch for every BL fans. Just like when I first saw Sotus a few years back, this BL would be my benchmark whether a certain series would hit me or not. Boyz is actually the first PHBL I've seen and it was fantastic. At first, it was kinda unusual for me when I saw the first episode because of the theme they got. Making a series with only a use of video calls is definitely tough when it comes to the storyline and plot. It's the perfect example of the saying, make it or break it. On the first 2 episodes of Boyz, I was a bit skeptical whether the series could actually satisfy me as a BL fan, but after the first 8 episodes, I found myself crying in the corner wanting to have more episodes of the series. The series continued to be a success until the first ever most unexpected kissing scene I ever saw in a BL on episode 10. There are quite a few things why I love this series. First, the series talks about love in an unexpected situation. Who would have thought that one of your fans would be hitting on you to be his boyfriend? This was actually my dilemma after watching the first episode. I was like, it was quite impossible for that to happen in real life, but the series was successful to establish a bond between the two. The 2 main characters of the series were not forced to be in a relationship after some time until they are already comfortable with one another. That's a good development on their connection. Second, the series talks about family issues and being open of one's sexuality to parents. The turning point of the series was actually when Cairo learned that his father had died because of the complications. Cairo blamed himself because of what happened to his father. Those scenes make Cairo vulnerable, especially when it comes to his sexuality. It actually helped the blooming relationship of Cairo and Gaff to be more open and to listen to one another. Lastly, the great acting of the casts on the show. I don't know if it's only me, but all of the actors are really effective on doing their roles. Everyone played a huge part on the series that made it more impactful and easy to watch. The main characters are definitely best actors. The actor who played the character of Pearl is definitely my favorite on the show. She is like the embodiment of every BL fans out there watching their most favorite BL series of all time. I saw her not just as a supporting character on the 2, but rather, one of the most important characters in the whole show. She set the bar higher as a shipper for Gav and Cairo. Terrence, on the other hand, is a pretty good villain despite he became a good one in the end. He was not just there to become a villain, but there's a deeper reason why he became such person. Overall, this series would be one of my favorite BL series in 2020. We may have different preferred BL series, but it all does the same things. These BLs make our lives happier than ever despite the pandemic we are in. Just a reminder that you don't need to hate a certain show if you don't like it. Rather, support and show some love on your favorites. At the end of the day, these are just fiction, and what matters the most is the respect we have for one another. Thank you for watching. That's it, and see you on the next one.